You've got a child, and you had a child later in your life.
Yes.
Is that right?
So I'm pretty much, I tick every box here. I waited till I was in my 40s to have a child.
Did that worry you? I've got a lot of friends that are sort of coming up to 40 and they're going, girlfriends who are going, I've got girls going up to 35 going, So what's like?
Listen, crapshoot, right? You just don't know what's going to happen once you start trying. See what happens. But for me, I was lucky. I didn't need any intervention. But I just risked it, I guess, and I waited till my 40s and got pregnant naturally, had my son at 43. So that's it for me. I just know that one child is it. And I waited because I wanted to focus on my career, which I'm so glad I did.
How is that? It must be... I feel so sorry for women on so many levels. But the idea that a man can kind of work all the way through, build his career year on year on year on year, but a woman is constantly got this thing in the back of her mind all the time. What does that feel like to you? You seem pretty relaxed with it, but is it the topic of conversation when you get to a certain age as a woman?
You know what? Of course, my friends and a lot of my friends are in the same boat as I was and am, waited later to have children. But, you just risked it. You have a baby when you want, and if you can't and you need intervention or ultimately you cannot have a child, what can you do? But it is a risk, and it is stressful, I guess. If a child is what you really want as part of your life and your future and it just doesn't happen, then maybe you kick yourself and say, oh, why did I wait so long? But luckily, I was not in that position. But I'm sure, sadly, many women are. How
do you juggle being a working mum and a mum?
It's really hard. It is a juggling act, exactly. Spinning plates, juggling. And you can't do everything perfectly. I've just accepted that. And I think once you accept that, it's all good, I tried it when I'm with my son. I try to be 100% with my son and not with my eye on the phone and playing Lego and, in his room with the other hand. So that's what I've learned to do, right? Just focus on one thing at a time and do the best you can when you're doing that thing. And then ultimately you're happy, in my opinion.
What's your favourite thing about being a mum?
Oh, gosh. I love seeing the world through my son's eyes. It's just refreshing and exciting. And, the world is his oyster. And maybe, as you get older and, you kind of get a little jaded here and there, it's like it refreshes you and it gives you this sort of new lease on life. And I love being a mum, and I love that it's such a big part of my life. Yes, my work is, my business is, my husband, my family, but my son is my world.
So can I be sort of a bit personal here? Like, can you afford childcare and stuff like that?
So when we thought about having more than one child, we took that into consideration. Childcare is super expensive, but not just childcare. Clothing, food, we send our son to...
they grow so fast and everything costs so much money.
So much money! Yeah. Oh my gosh, just the equipment you need, it's really expensive. So I look back and I think when I was growing up, families, 3, 4, 5 children, and I think, how do they afford it?
Well, ask my mum, she had 5.
Oh my God!
And she had one at 44, so she beat you by...
OMG, wow.
She's also dead, you can't ask her.
Oh,
I love your mum.
Oh. But it's expensive, right? So there's so many reasons, I think, why people are having less and less children. Super expensive.
Yeah, why are people... So, no, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Why are people having less children? My theory, there are many theories, but my theory is that people don't think it's cool. They think it's sort of... It's like, oh, being a mum or a dad, I don't want to be that. I want to be this, I want to do that. Life is so leisurely for people now and easy that they'd rather just stay children themselves up until they, Yeah, I'm not meeting...
I can see that, but I don't agree with that. I think the reasons, at least for me and what I've seen amongst my circle, is expensive, hard to juggle, childcare super expensive. It's not practical anymore to have 3, 4, 5 children.
Why not? Why shouldn't we have 3? I want 5, 6, 7 children.
Good luck. How many do you have?
I've got 2.
Okay, but you're stopping.
Well, I haven't made up my mind yet. we'll have a chat with Mrs. Wright when she turns up.
Okay.
But there does seem to be a trend from young people and all those that we're looking at people coming out of university now who weren't alive during 9/11, for example. Every single thing that has happened to them in their lives has been catastrophic in terms of like financial crashes. Nothing has been. We haven't had a massive bit of good news for quite a long time. So they can't afford to be on the property ladder, they can't afford... So no wonder they're turning into socialists and telling us all what to do with our money, but B, going, I don't want kids, I can't afford my own life.
Exactly. So they become a little more selfish, in a way, selfish.
But don't you think that a country is a family, and the very bedrock of a country is the family unit itself, is where you learn everything, and that we should be celebrating and applauding both mums and dads who decide to stop and go, I'm going to not do this, I'm going to be a full-time child carer. Do you think we should celebrate that as well and make that as applaudable as being a multimillionaire?
Well, listen, I think you can't do it all, like I said, well. But, you know, a family unit, which used to be maybe, you know, mother, father, 2, 3, 4 children, is now mother, father, maybe father, father, mother, mother, whatever. Yeah. But one child, that's a family unit now. And that's a more accepted family unit nowadays, I think, because of the various reasons we just talked about.
But it's not, but it means we're going to be extinct.
It's very depressing.
So we don't need to worry about Extinction Rebellion extincting us. Anyway.
The planet will be in a better place. Less stress on the planet.
Less stress.